drugs, gun, killing.
Gun laws mean absolutely nothing.
These gangs know they can beat the system.
They don't prosecute, they make deals.
Coming right back out in the street, and they can go get illegal guns like that.
It's easy to get your hands off any guns. The law doesn't make any difference.
It looks good from the outside while the patient's bleeding to death on the inside.
The more you disarm the public, the better off the gangs and the criminals are.
They're masters of manipulating the system, and the system does not meet the challenge.
Albany, the state capital of New York, where lawmakers in their gilded and guarded chambers pass countless gun laws. But just blocks away, many of those laws have already been broken by drug dealers and rival gangs, hanging out on street corners, defending their turf, no matter the cost.
It would be foolish to think that a gun law is going to stop them. A gang operates through fear, intimidation, and violence. That's how they make their money, that's how they sell their drugs, that's how they recruit people.
This is like a third world nation. It's survival down here, and this whole gang counterculture has risen up in the vacuum of hopelessness, despair, the destruction of the family.
The gang is their family structure. The drug dealer's driving around in a luxury vehicle. He's wearing gold. They see that, and they want to be that.
Neighborhoods overrun by gangs. Most residents too afraid to talk, to even leave their homes, because as 78-year-old Lillian Samuel told us, too often, the innocent are caught in the crossfire.
Because you don't know where a stray bullet's coming from. That's sad.
Whether it be shootings, stabbings, fights that all occurs between uptown and downtown groups.
540. All right, across the street from my house is a dead body laying in the alley over there.
Lillian then points to her basement door, broken into by some street thugs.
I just got a steel door put on there. Cost me $500. Now that's ridiculous. You're not safe in your own house.
Albany ain't Albany like it used to be. People are just scared nowadays.
We've had gunshots fired over our heads as we've come in the building in the morning. We've had drive-by shootings out on our front steps. This is life as we know it. Come on in.
Dr. Bob Peglow runs a healthcare clinic in West Hill, where he grew up.
Nice deep breath.
But it's now one of the most crime-ridden neighborhoods, where violence is getting worse and gang members are getting younger.
There's a 10-year-old boy who came in here who'd been shot. 10-year-old arrested 4 times. I can't even imagine that.
For these kids and so many other families, Dr. Peglow is their Mother Teresa, their confidant, who cares for them and tries to offer hope where little can be found.
I saw a young man here not too long ago, and I felt a little crick in my back, and I said, oh. I said, I'm getting old. And he looked at me, and he laughed, and he said, Dr. Bob, he said, I'm never going to be old. My life is going to end out on the streets. I said, my God, where have we gone?
They don't respect life at all. It's all about money and drugs. Who can get their hands on what faster?
These drug dealers are like a cancer in their own neighborhoods. They affect not only the generation now, but the generation that's coming up.
A tragic reality, because when 2 detectives with the Albany County Sheriff's Department drove us through some of the roughest neighborhoods, they made clear,
Turn around and start walking.
if these kids don't value their own life, they're not going to value any gun law.
If these kids want to illegally possess a gun, the gun law, it really means nothing.
They're violent, they're going to commit the violence, they're going to get the firearms, and they're going to laugh at every firearms law you pass. It has no impact on them.
I think it's a joke because you can put the gun laws to the maximum and they can still get guns. It's like a powerhouse. You can't stop them.
So how easy is it to get a gun?
It's very easy. Like just to go to the store, buy a piece of cake or coffee.
Expensive?
Very cheap. I spend sometimes like $100. Some gun I buy for $50.
In fact, a 5-year study by the FBI shows criminals ignore our gun laws.
And the response was, consistently, these gun criminals who killed cops laughed at the gun laws. They were not a deterrent, 100% of the time.
There are more unsolved murders on this street alone than in any street in the whole city.
How many of these guys around here have a legal gun?
I'm going to go with 0.
No gang will go to any store. You just get them off the street.
the percentage of illegal guns versus legal guns, it'd have to be 99.999 illegal, 0.001 legal. It's always illegal guns.
I don't ever recall arresting somebody for a crime who used a legal firearm, and I don't think any gun law is going to change that.
So what will work? Prosecuting criminals so they can't beat the system.
I just read a study that New York State paroles more violent felons than any state in the country.
There are politicians and prosecutors out there across the country who tell officers, don't make arrests because we can't fit any more inmates. Do you think the people in those communities would like to know that they're purposely not arresting people? That's horrendous.
They're in and out of the system over and over and over. A lot of times they'll walk in and walk out with us, and a couple of times they've even asked us for rides home.
Let's mandate sentences. Let's put people in jail. Right now they're not afraid.
That's why the NRA's Wayne LaPierre spoke at a rally at the state capitol and pledged to help put a program called Project Exile to work in Albany.
Let's put criminals on notice in Albany. An illegal gun gets you 5 years in federal prison. If Attorney General Holder launches Project Exile here in Albany, we at the NRA will help pay for those billboards and bus posters. Let's take back the streets from the gangs in this town, and let's start today to do it.
To date, no response, but no one is surprised. These hollowed halls of government are so deeply rooted in corruption, the citizens don't trust their politicians.
They want your vote, and you vote and put them in. They get what they want, and then the hell with you.
Politicians are more worried about agendas than the truth.
And there's no quick fix, and they don't want to hear that. And so we get laws and rules and things that, frankly, are laughable. They're putting a Band-Aid on a hemorrhage.
So until these lawmakers clean up their own house and stop playing politics with people's lives, no one can stop the bleeding.
Another gun law is not going to change anything. Let's enforce what we already have.
I'm really scared about my Second Amendment, especially in this state. My message to the people is wise up.
We're headed to a very bad place, a very dark place. Because what happens in West Hill today, trust me, is going to be happening in your neighborhood tomorrow.
It's definitely getting worse, and I don't see any light at the end of the tunnel.
I'm not concerned about me. I'm 78 years old, you know? But the younger generation.
It scares the hell out of me. I'm glad I'm older. I feel sorry for my kids and my grandkids if this is the direction this country's going in. I don't want anybody messing with our Constitution.